Okay, I've got a little energy update for you guys today. So I feel like there's a group of people, and you watching this, this is not going to apply to you. You might be being affected by this right now, which is actually why I want to share it. But I'm like working with myself on this as well. We need to be able to have a lot of compassion and grace with this specific group of people. But honestly, like just the feeling in my body as I'm feeling this energy in the collective is pure irritation. But we're going to call in grace and compassion also. So, yeah, I have this feeling that there's this specific group of people who's just starting to awaken, but in order for them to really open into that space, they are being asked to look at something about themselves. They are being asked to look at a truth that they do not want to witness, that they have been denying, suppressing, ignoring, pretending doesn't exist for years. So these people have sort of been invited to awaken over the last 2 years. I feel specifically they've been offered it, and they keep missing the opportunity. They keep missing the moments where you cannot raise in consciousness if you are not willing to look at every single morsel of who you are, how you show up, how you're operating, who you're being. You don't get to experience higher frequencies if you are not willing to look at every single part of yourself. They go hand in hand. And so what I want to say is, if you feel like this applies to you, or you feel like, I don't know, if you feel like this applies to you, please understand, the longer that you pretend things don't exist, the longer that you are in the space of denial, the longer that you pretend that you are not seeing something within yourself, the worse it is going to get. And I always share this as an example. You know, the goddess, when she works with you, first we all are familiar with the soul tap, right? She's like, hey, I think that you fucking hate this job. Hey, I think that your marriage is actually extremely toxic. Hey, I think that this friend is actually betraying you. Like, there's always a tap on your shoulder, right? And then she'll start to shake you like, hey, you're not listening. Did you hear me? And then she's going to flip you upside down, hang you by a tree, and till everything in your pockets falls out. Like, this is how she operates. If you do not listen when she's trying to show you something about yourself, she will make you see it. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. And there's just this real energy that this group is like really trying to run for their lives. Like, they are so scared to witness their, and my words to you are that the longer you run, the worse it's going to get. The more it's going to blow up in a big tangible way in your life, whatever that aspect is that you're wanting to avoid. You know, here's an example coming in. Like, maybe you have been getting the tap of like, hey, I'm an alcoholic. Like, hey, I have a problem with alcohol and I can't stop, but you're like pretending that you're not seeing that. And so an example of something like this that would be very normal is that someone rejects that. They're in denial about it. They suppress it. They pretend it's not there until they get a DUI and they have to pay a lawyer the courts $30,000, or they have to, they do something when they're drunk that they lose custody of their child. Or like, this is the stuff that happens when you avoid your truth. We cannot run from it. So have the courage to look at yourself truthfully and love yourself anyways. And if you don't know how to do that, this is what people like me are for. My mastery is in the alchemical process, so I help you with that. With no judgment, with no shame or guilt or any of it. We look at everything from a very biased perspective and ask ourselves, how is it that I can transmute this aspect? How is it that I can love this part of myself and shift or transform it into something that's really serving me? Because we think that the negative parts of ourself are like things that should be hidden away. No, they are some of our biggest skill sets so often. So you can hire someone like me, or you can hire a coach, or you can hire whoever you feel called to support you. But like, stop being in denial. Stop suppressing it. Stop running away. Because I'm telling you, it's just going to get bigger and more explosive and worse and worse and worse. And you're going to wish that you took action on it before it got to that point.